Poll after poll, from The Economist to YouGov to Reuters to ISPOS to Rasmussen, shows that nearly 2/3 of Americans think our economy is on the wrong track. White House spin is one thing, but the facts clearly define the Obama administration's record of low economic growth numbers. So we hear the rhetoric coming out of the president's spokesman and the president himself and some members here of the Senate that things are just really working really well. Well, let's look at the facts. The truth lies in the facts, not in what somebody wants to tell you the truth is. Fact, under the Obama administration, real growth continues to average only half of the growth of an average recession recovery over the last half century. We've had many recessions, but the surge of economic activity post those recessions has been twice as much as what has happened over this recession, which took place in late 2008 and early 2009. So it has been 8 years, nearly 8 years, and we're half of what we have with the average growth of all other recessions over the past half century. Fact, productivity growth has slumped under President Obama. Fact, business dynamism has slowed down significantly. Fact, today a smaller share of Americans are working than before the recovery began. Fact, for those Americans who have been able to get jobs, a larger share are working part-time. And while President Obama is touting recent gains in household income, the facts show that median American household is still bringing in home less money than it was before the recession began almost 9 years ago. And based on these facts, it's clear that the economic policies employed by the Obama administration have not worked. You know, it's one thing to come down here or listen to the president say, or members say, look, these policies have worked. It's a great success. It's another thing to look at the reality of what has happened and say, no, it's not a success. Too many Americans feel there appears to be no end to this current cycle of mediocrity. And it's almost become the new normal that we're going to grow at 1 or 1.5 or 2% a year instead of the normal post-recession growth of 3.5 to 4% or even more. There's a reason why these policies, in my opinion, have not worked. And there's also, I think, a major reason why the American people simply say, look, you had your shot. You said you knew how to run government. You said you knew how to grow the economy. You put these policies in place. Well, it hasn't worked. So when something doesn't work, you don't just keep perpetuating that, which is what I think the election is all about, frankly, but you turn to other policies that you look back on have worked successfully before. I want to just name 3 things here that I think could substantially improve the growth of the economy in the United States. Clearly, taxes are too complex, regulations are tying the hands of job creators, and the ever-growing federal debt is crowding out private sector investment. All these are facts. So it's time to change this truth and take a long-term look at why the Obama administration policies have failed and employ new policies. Let me outline 3 new policies. First, our broken tax code is punishing job creators. We have the highest combined corporate tax rate in the developed world. All of our competitors have a much lower corporate tax rate than we do, and it puts us at a disadvantage. And of course, that's why we have an imbalance in our trade accounts. Small business owners face mind-numbing complexity and rates as high as 44.3% due to Obama tax increases. Reducing business tax rates, both large and small, and simplifying the 74,000 pages in the Internal Revenue Code, the tax code, will help American companies retain their competitive edge in the face of globalization so that we can expand and create new jobs. We've been talking about this for years. It hasn't happened. Tax reform is absolutely necessary to get our economy growing again. Secondly, policymakers and the administration need to streamline and reduce burdensome regulations that are holding our economy down. The Obama administration continues to issue regulations at a record-setting pace. This flood of red tape wastes time and resources, stifles jobs and new business startups, and dampens economic growth. I have story after story after story by the businesses I visit in Indiana say we are swamped with regulations. Instead of producing or selling our product, we're filling out paperwork and sending it to Washington and going through months and months and months waiting for approval of this or that or whatever. So regulatory reform is absolutely essential if we're going to get our economy to grow. And third and last of the three major issues, growing federal debt is crowding out the private sector. Over the years, as I have said, President Obama has nearly doubled our national debt, racking up more debt in this 8 years of this administration than in all previous years of every president that has preceded this 44th president. Think about that. The amount of debt that we have incurred under this president exceeds all of the other debt since the beginning of this country, under 43 previous presidents. So when you put these three together, I believe that is the direction we need to go. And hopefully, as we're closing out on this administration, that is the direction that we'll be able to take to get our people back to work, get our economy growing again, and make America great again.